All right, sir, this is all for you. Are you interested in international payments? Wonderful. Okay. Do you currently make any? Okay. What's the connection between these four pictures? If you think about an underlying theme, they've all been innovated over the last decade or so through the use of the web. If you think about some of the traditional high street stores, they are no more. They failed to innovate. Web-enabled innovation is what's driving a lot of commerce these days. Provides cost savings and efficiencies, and we've got several examples that are all household names now as a result of what they've been doing. If you think about the way in which FX pricing has been done traditionally, there's an enormous opportunity to innovate, and we believe that the opacity of the market needs to change. There are a lot of reasons why it hasn't changed to date. There are a lot of vested interests, large banks. Back in 2000, Citibank was making over $1 billion a quarter profit from the FX spread alone. It's only got larger. FX is highly decentralized. There's no central exchange. So there's no transparency in terms of the pricing. And it's in the bank and other brokers' interest to keep it that way. So what we're trying to do at Midpoint is provide that transparency and better pricing. To give you an example of how bad it is, if you think about moving a container of goods from Asia, it will actually wind up costing you more to ship the goods than it will to move the money back. We've given some numbers up here as an example. It's not only the spread, but there are other fees on top of that. Commissions, payment fees, lifting fees. They all give rise to a not very fun experience for the payer. And for a small business where margins are critical, any savings that can be garnered through doing their foreign payments more cost effectively drop straight to their bottom line. So what exactly is peer-to-peer? Essentially, it's one peer interacting with one or more other peers to the extent that there is no middleman. If you think about the way in which Midpoint does its business, unlike a traditional spread model, we connect buyers and sellers at the midpoint of the cross rate. We charge them a flat fee for doing that, that fee dependent upon the size of their trade. That gives rise to an awful lot of savings. The system's fully transparent and therefore fully auditable. But we're not alone. There are others who have seized this opportunity as well. We're the only one that's public at the moment, but there are 3 others who are also in our space that are getting venture capital attention. And there's good reason for that. It's an enormous space. We estimate that our addressable market is roughly $76 trillion a year in terms of the active currencies that we're in doing payments. So not people doing trades, not central banks, but people actually doing payments. It's a tremendous market. So how does the Midpoint system work? Customers come on the system. It's a web-based system. They register. We do the Know Your Client anti-money laundering compliance. We're fully authorized here in the UK with the FCA, and that gives us a compliance passport across Europe. Once you're authorized, you can put your order in. The system matches you. To the extent that there isn't sufficient liquidity at the time, we have liquidity providers plugged in, so you'll always be matched almost instantly. As and when we find you the match, we'll send you some instructions to remit your money. Now, unlike some other players in the space, you're not remitting to us. you're remitting to a segregated bank account at one of the major high street banks via the Earthport ecosystem. Now, Earthport's another listed company here in the UK that does essentially an alternative corresponding banking network for other banks. And the reason we've chose to partner with them is greater security for the client. Each transaction generates its own independent tracking number, so a virtual account number. You will receive an email where to remit your funds. You then follow those instructions. The money stays in your name, as I mentioned earlier. Once we see it hitting the account via the Earthport ecosystem, it will then pay out. Unlike some of our other competitors, we also have a rather interesting advantage in that we applied for and received a US patent on the way in which we are able to network multiple parties. So, in a traditional peer-to-peer model and a traditional brokerage model, you would have two people who would have naturally offsetting positions. But currencies are quite unlike other assets because implicit to buying a currency, you're also a seller. And that means that we have the opportunity to do multi-party netting. So in this example, we have somebody who has dollars that wants pounds. They find the person that has the pounds, but that person doesn't want dollars. So traditionally, there would never have been an opportunity to net. But if that person wants euro, and we can find that third party that has the euro and wants dollars, we can put a three-way ring together. And the software is built to search not only for two-way matches, but also three-way, four-way, five-way, six-way, out to however many currencies we offer. And we currently offer 13 currencies. The system, however, is preloaded for 39 currencies, and it's just a matter of how quickly we switch them on over time. So why Midpoint? Well, it's timely. Peer-to-peer models are gaining traction in other financial services. Think about Funding Circle, other peer-to-peer lenders, and other peer-to-peer foreign exchange players. Customers and regulators are demanding more transparency. If you think about the Dodd-Frank Act in the US, it's driving an awful lot of derivatives, well, all derivatives, to be exchange cleared. There is no central exchange for foreign exchange. We can be a very small one. We currently serve 13 major global currencies: the US dollar, sterling, euro, Swissy, Canadian, the Scandinavians, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, the dirham from the United Arab Emirates, Polish zlotys, and the Hong Kong dollar. As I mentioned earlier, your money is safe and secure. It's always within a segregated trust account at a major bank. Midpoint is also authorized by the FCA here in the UK. The system's completely transparent. We use a third-party rate feed, which will always give us the midpoint of the cross rate, and that's the rate you will be matched at. That's auditable and trackable. And the savings that our customers have been able to garner to date are significant, and hence it's quite sticky. So if you like it, come and see us on stand G35. Thank you for your attention. Okay. Any questions?